back to Sci-Fi Tech. In this video, I want to do a teardown of this DVD player. I want to see how it works, and I want to see if there's any parts worth salvaging. Let's get started. First, I'm going to do what I always do. See a screw, take a screw, see a screw, take a screw, and remove all of the screws that I can find. And now open it up. As you can see, this device contains a lot of interesting circuits with a lot of interesting components. This DVD player does not work. This is why I'm doing a teardown, because I'm curious to see why it's broken. Take an observation of this panel, and you can see there's a burn mark. Figuring out the location of the circuit of where that burn mark is, you can see that it's placed directly over these transistors. What probably happened is that these transistors got overheated, and overheating the transistors is what caused the entire device to fail. And now let's have a closer look at all the circuits. This circuit right here is the power supply circuit. This is where you take the input voltage from the mains voltage, converting it into different DC voltages that are lower voltage, allowing the other circuits to function. You can see that all the wires connect to all of the different circuits. And now it's time to remove all of the circuits that is in this housing. I also want to go and remove the housing of this DVD player, so that way I can see what kind of components that are worth salvaging in there. And then, of course, again, see a screw, take a screw, see a screw, take a screw, and remove all of the screws I can find. And there, as you can see, all of the screws are now removed. And now I can just simply take the circuits and pull them out. You can see that they're all loose, except for that one is stuck, so I need to go ahead and pull out these ribbon cables. And looking at the ribbon cables, you can see that there's some gold. Salvaging for gold will be definitely something I'll do in the future. And this one right here, I believe, contains silver. So I have some gold and silver. And now let's remove the 3 screws that are connected to the soundboard, so that way I can be able to pull the soundboard out. And there, the soundboard can now be removed. I need to examine it to make sure that those transistors still work. If they still work, I can probably use it as an audio amplifier. And of course, removing the soundboard allows me to access the screws that were hidden underneath. Simply unscrew them, and then undo these screws right here, which are basically standoff leads. These standoff leads are very useful to be able to take circuits and stand them up, so that way if I'm screwing them into a metal plate and I don't want the circuit to touch the metal plate to cause short circuits, these will allow them to stand them up to prevent that from happening, or it allows a certain device to stay cool to allow air to pass underneath. All the screws are now removed from the processor board, allowing me to be able to remove it just like this. And there, the processor board is now removed. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue removing some more circuits. The power supply can easily be removed. The power supply is now removed. Oh, a very basic green circuit. Very nice. And as you can see, the way it's soldered into place, it's easy to remove components on this board. So I'm going to take this power supply and put it to the side. I also have to test it out to make sure that this power supply still works. You can see right here, there's a full bridge rectifier. Very nice. And these are nice little transformers that are also very nice. Some ceramic capacitors, electrolytic capacitors, fuses, and resistors. Some diodes. A little chip right here that looks very interesting. I need to look up the data sheet. And a little optocoupler. Optocouplers are very nice and very useful. Some more transistors. Some inductors with some electrolytic capacitors. This right here is a very nice power supply. And, like what I said earlier, the power supply is held up by these standoff leads. Exactly the reason why I want to use standoff leads, for the same reason, to prevent any short circuits. And now let's go ahead and remove the DVD drive. Before I do that, I need to remove some screws to be able to remove the control panel that allows me to control the device. And there, all the screws are now removed. And now I should be able to pull it out and pry it out just like this. And there, the DVD drive is now removed. Okay, so now let's go a little deeper. Go ahead and try to pry out this little control panel. And there, control panel is now removed. These are very nice little springs. Obviously, these springs are for the DVD drive, preventing the DVD drive from vibrating too much. However, these springs are very useful. Definitely can use this for a future project. And looking at this front panel, looks very nice. I like this little red lens. I can possibly use this for something. See if I can try to pull it out. I think what I'll do is just simply remove these wires and remove this second control panel. This is a circuit that is meant for connecting an HDMI cable or a USB cable to allow it to connect to this device, and then connects to the TV afterwards. I could possibly use that, not really sure. Interesting push buttons, some surface mount components that are potentially useful. This device is very interesting. It's sort of like a Nixie tube. Basically, it's a glass ampule that contains neon gas. And what this device does is displays numbers or different functions of this DVD player. And of course, all the different components that is on this circuit can be very useful. This right here is an infrared sensor. You can use a remote control and it will pick up the signal from the remote control. And these little push buttons, these are very interesting push buttons. And now let's open up the housing of the DVD drive and let's see what's inside. See if there's any parts that are worth salvaging, and let's see how it works. There, all the screws are now removed. Remove the top panel. And there, and now I have access to the DVD drive. Remove some more screws. This part right here holds the top of the DVD, so it holds it in place. Remove some more screws. And now carefully pull the bottom housing out. And now there's some more screws. Remove more screws. And this plastic piece is removed. And then the circuit is almost removed. And now undo some more screws to remove out and to remove the DVD tray. Rubber stoppers. These rubber stoppers are very useful. I can definitely use this for a future project. And how these work is that it reduces the vibration of the DVD when it spins. And I can use this for other type of devices to prevent vibration or insulation. Lots of different functions for these. This DVD drive is connected to this shaft motor, and this shaft motor allows this little tray to move up and down, allowing the laser light to scan the DVD. Pull out some more ribbon cables. This one contains silver, probably. Remove this ribbon cable. Same thing. And now remove some more screws. And there, the DVD circuit is now removed. I can probably keep it intact and use it for a future project. This little DC motor is difficult to remove, so lift this lever and I can be able to take the tray and slide the tray out. So push this little lever over to the side. This tray can easily be pulled out. And it comes off just like this. This is possibly useless, so I'll put it to the side or throw it away. And now I can go and remove some more screws to remove these little gears. Remove the screws that are holding down the gears. And there, now I have access to those two screws that is holding down the DC motor. Simply unscrew those two screws, and now I can remove the DC motor and use this DC motor for a future project. And there, the DC motor is now removed. And there you have it. Here are all of the components that I have salvaged so far. Looking at the DVD drive, I have all these rubber stoppers, which are very useful. Very useful for things that are vibrating too much, preventing vibrations in certain devices. And of course these gears, I can possibly use gears for something. This circuit right here has a DC motor with these little push button switches. And these are very sensitive push button switches. These can be very useful for something. And this right here is a DVD drive, this little DVD shaft I can possibly use for something. And if I need a component, I can just simply remove it, or just keep it intact like this and maybe make this device a musical device, or use it as an actual DVD player. Not really sure, but I'll come up with something creative with this. And of course right here, a bunch of screws, springs, and standoff leads. These are all very useful. Definitely can do something with these. So far, this is some of the parts that I have salvaged. And I have right here all of the circuits that I have salvaged from this DVD player. And you can see right here, these ribbon cables contain precious metals, possibly silver. I have to examine and test that out. This one right here definitely contains gold. Definitely going to salvage for that. And inside this part right here also contains gold. And then looking at all these circuits, of course all these circuits are very useful. This right here is another ribbon cable, may contain silver. And of course, these ribbon cable connectors also contains gold, so I'll salvage gold from these as well. And of course, this entire circuit contains a bunch of surface mount components that I'll probably salvage in the future. So far, I'll just leave it on the board, and when I need a component, I'll just simply pull it off. This soundboard right here can be very useful. Maybe use it as a soundboard, or extract gold from these ribbon cable connectors. Or if not, I can just simply extract a component from it. Simply leave the components on the board so I don't lose the components. And when I need a component, I'll just simply desolder it and extract it. Basically, that's what I'm going to do with all of the circuits. And then right here is this power supply. I need to test out this power supply and see what the output voltage is. Or if not, again, extract the components by simply leaving them on the board, and when I need a component, extract it. And this right here is the output voltage. I need to measure the voltage on these wires, because maybe I'll use this as some kind of power supply. Because this power supply is very nice. And this front controller board has some interesting components I can definitely salvage, especially this component that I want to use in a future project. And there you have it. Now you know what's inside of a DVD player, how it works, and what kind of parts that are worth salvaging. Thank you for watching Side High Tech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified of future Side High Tech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.